All right, we are live. So, last night I was starting to get ready to do a stream with Grace and my wife, and we were gonna play some Stardew. And she had some like mic issues with Discord. It like wasn't registering. She couldn't hear me. I couldn't hear her, etc. So I paused my stream or stopped it, and I went in to just delete it because I was like, I don't need like a 1 minute little version of me speaking. So I went and deleted it, but accidentally deleted all of my videos on Twitch. So thankfully, I've been backing them up after every single time I streamed, like immediately. So that worked out good in my favor. So if you're a streamer, make sure you back up your content, export them, and download them. But anyways, so because of that, I want to show you where you can actually find all of these streams. So if you go to the drumming content, you can go to either one of these links, either the chops and technique or the drum kit independence and charts. And if you click on this image, then it takes you to a playlist that has all of my streams, the prior streams saved. And I'm about a week behind on them. So every Tuesday and Thursday, I release a new video from my prior stream. So the one that's going to come out tomorrow, because today's Monday, is from like 2 weekends ago. So that's how you can find the stream content that I previously did. So make sure you check that out if you are interested in doing that. But anyways, so today I'm working on double stops. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to specifically work on playing both hands at the same time, which are called double stops. And if you do it where one hand is louder or softer than the other, it can give you a flammy sound, even if you hit at the same time. So balance-wise, it won't sound good. So I'm going to work on some different accent tap stuff and some different diddle exercises with double stops to try and make sure that it sounds good. So that's the goal. Then after that, I'm going to switch over to drum kit, and that's the plan for today. So, hello, person in the chat. How you doing this morning? I'm going to be drumming. So today's a good morning. I'm actually going to start off with an exercise called Schlitz and Giggles, and it's by SCV, and I'm going to put it in the chat. Now, you're not going to hear the audio from this because of copyright and whatnot, but you'll hear me playing it. So this is what I'm going to do to warm up. And here we go. So pad keeps almost falling off. Right, stopped it right before I switched. Let's see, so a request. So I actually don't do the request. So what I'm doing in these streams, it's different than most other drummers, is I'm actually sharing how I practice and the things that I work on. So I've been playing for over 20 years, but there's still a ton of things for me to work on. So I'm specifically going to show you how I work on my chops and techniques, and then I'll transition over at about the hour mark onto drum kit and show you how I work on limb independence. If you are interested in somebody who does some of the requests in terms of streams and whatnot, I rated Kid Yuki 1 yesterday, and I actually had a lot of fun watching them, so let me put their name in the chat. So I do highly recommend checking them out. It's Kid Yuki 1. So check them out. They, I think, stream on Sundays and Thursdays, maybe, but check it out on their actual stream. Cool. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little stretch and massage now that I got the blood flowing a little bit. And then after I do a stretch and massage, I'm going to switch back over to Schlitz and Giggles and play it at 1.25 times speed to warm up. And then I'll actually start working on the double stop stuff. So the first thing that I'm going to do is hold my sticks so that the palms are facing up. Pull this out of my ear. And I'm going to move one in and then under, and then follow with the other hand. Ooh, that feels good. It's a nice stretch on the side of the forearms. Highly recommend. 10 out of 10. 7 out of 7. Okay. If you're working on traditional grip, you can do some rotation holds to kind of hold those stretches there. I'm not doing that today. Okay, so I'm going to now stretch my tendons, and the way I'm going to do that is kind of just holding, putting some pressure on the fingers, pulling them back basically. And I'm doing them both at the same time. Makes it a little faster. Okay, now I'm going to stretch the top part of the forearm in the opposite direction. And then I'm going to stretch the fingers individually. Itchy nose. And now each finger. My arms are feeling a little tight today. I don't know if it's because I did a upper body workout beforehand, and so just like all the muscles and the shoulders and whatnot are tight. But we'll see how that impacts my playing. Every day it's different. Okay, now that I stretch out my fingers and my hands and whatnot, now I want to actually massage my forearms. So I highly recommend this care practice every time you're drumming. Otherwise, you could get into some pretty bad injuries and whatnot. Ask me how I know. Oof. Definitely tight. Also tight up here. Okay, switch to the other side. Okay, now I'm going to massage the palms. So both the back side and the inside with the thumb. And then I'm going to go base to tip of the fingers, massaging. It's interesting, my fingers feel a little raw this morning. I don't know if it's because of the stall bars I was using. Just like the hands feel off. Massage the other hand. And then next, I'm going to go back to the exercise that I just played. I'm going to set it to 1.25 times speed. And, ooh, fingers tight. Use this as a post warm-up. So it's a good way to just get my hands really flowing. It is faster than I can play comfortably, so it's forcing me to try and push beyond my current limits. So we're going to go here. And I'm going to set it to 1.25. And let's rewind it all the way. Oh, I need my earbud. All right, let's see how this goes. I haven't played this other than the first warm-up, I don't know, like a month or two. A little rusty. One, two, ready, and... Whoops. I think I'm off by a partial. There we go. Woo! Hi, nice to meet you. Okay, so now that I got my hands going, what I'm going to do is go back to my website and specifically work on some double stop work. So I'm back in the chops and technique, and let me unplug this so you can actually hear the audio this time, since this is my YouTube content. And unplug, replug, turn that up. Cool. So on my website are a bunch of resources, like just under 700 hours. Yeah, 680 right now. And I think there's like another dozen more coming out this Friday. So I'm specifically going to show you how you can work on double stops. And one of them is using the sticking variations of grid. And so I'm just going to do the stock check pattern, but I'm going to play it double stops. So as opposed to alternating my hands, I'm playing them at the exact same time. And while I do this, I'm going to point out some of the things that I'm thinking about or the things that I'm working on. but you can actually switch to a different timestamp in here. I'm going to start right at 40. So my goal is to stay nice and relaxed with the accents and with the taps, oops, and make them pop when they hit the same time. So I'm going to start with just accents and taps. Then I'm going to work on some diddle variations. And then I'll switch over a kit and work on some limb independence. Hopefully that mic that's down by my hands, you can hear the pops. We don't want it to sound like this. We want a popping sound. Okay, so I'm going to let it do it at 41. This is very slow, but I realized that my accents were a little bit more emphasized or pronounced than I'd like, so I'm going to focus on relaxing those while keeping consistent taps. There we go. Those accents are better, but the taps are worse. They're a little flammy. Now, I highly recommend, if you actually are working on double stops, to practice this in front of a mirror. That way you can see if your hands are doing similar things or not. Whoops. Talking's messed me up. I have Streamlabs open, so I'm able to see it, sort of. It's a little small, but that's kind of acting as my mirror. I do have in this practice room a mirror over there above the marimba, but I can't use it while streaming because I'd have to completely shift the orientation. Okay, so let's actually speed this up a bit and let's see what happens to the technique while I do this. It's interesting, yesterday the description content was like over here on the right, but now it's switched back. Maybe that was a glitch yesterday. All right, so I'm going to go up 10 clicks at a time and see how the technique changes. So I'm specifically looking for some gray zones to see if there's like a spot where like, oh, this doesn't sound great. Like I'm in between like a slower and faster technique. And if so, then I need to sit there and work through it. My accents are a little too heavy. All you got to do is pull them back. Oops. And, play them in the right time. Don't have to overemphasize to get the accents in. Just let the heights do the work for you, the gravity. Okay, that was better as I went through it. Let's speed it up again. So let's go to 60 now. By the way, I should put a link in here. That's where all of the charts are and whatnot that I'm using. All the sheet music. The link in the chat, that is. If you're watching this after the fact on YouTube, the link will be in the description. Keep messing up while I'm talking. One day I'll get better at that. The taps are a little inconsistent right now. Those are better. Those were worse. I'm a little bit worried about hitting the microphone with my left, so I have a tendency to kind of play it a little lower than I should. Trying to keep the microphone out of the way, but still figuring out this whole stream thing. Cool. Let's speed her up again. Whoops. Let's see if I do this. Is that better? Sorta? No? Specifically focusing on the taps again. My pad keeps sliding. Speaking of, I'm gonna slide this microphone so it's not as in the way. All right, is this better? Sorta. Okay, cool. Let's speed her up some more. Eventually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to a different variation where it's a diddle after the accent. And what that's going to do is it's going to allow me to play double stop diddles and listen to make sure it doesn't sound like. But instead, we have the first and the second note. Ooh, those sound bad. Both getting that pop sound. So you can hear that second note, how it sounded flammy. That's a clear indication that I need to work on that. Hence why I'm practicing. All right, let's jump up 20. A little flammy there. Yeah, so a little imbalance on the taps in terms of the volume, so I'm going to do it only one click faster. A little late. So I think it's the left hand, which is high on the taps. Okay, I'm going to do it at 92. Haven't really earned the right to move on. So it's the two accents back to back are getting a little flammy on the first accent. Taps were flammy. Keep sliding. Okay, so why is this so important for me to work on like a very basic exercise like this? Well, because whenever you listen to a drumline and you hear them play like an accent tap pattern on the right hand, and then all of a sudden it switches to the left, and it sounds different, well, the reason why is because they haven't sat there and worked on making it so that the hands balance each other out and get the same touch on the right hand as the same touch on the left hand. So this is one way that you can work on that, is doing the double stops to specifically make sure that everything sounds consistent across one hand to the next. And one way that you could also practice this is like do, and then both, and then just the left, and then both, etc. I'm going to do that in a little bit with some double beat stuff, but that's just a teaser. Let's speed this up. Let's see what happens when I get to a breaking point with my technique and it all sounds like flams, or my hands are just like, no, don't play faster. So we're going to jump up about 15 clicks. I'm going to try and stay relaxed, lower my heights a little bit. Flammy. Let's try that again. Okay, so working at a speed that is not comfortable, like past your abilities, really informs like what you can work on for next time, how you can practice it. So I'm intentionally trying to find a breaking point with my technique and whatnot. So we're gonna go fast, and it's not gonna sound great, but that's okay. It'll tell me some things I can work on. Yeah, so it's the left hand on the double accents, slowing down slightly. Okay, that little click is my ring. Okay. So my hands are getting tired. I'm playing with the Hardeman hammer sticks, so they're like extra heavy, which are great for working on chop and whatnot, but get tired doing that. Okay, so that was interesting. So my left hand was slowing down slightly, and then there's also like a slight hiccup after, or rather before each one of the accents. So we have like, this is a very exaggerated version of what just happened. So as opposed to smooth, there's a slight, just a little bit of a delay after that last tap right before the accent. So it's like da 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 da. So it sounded a little bit off. So something to work on for next time. But what I'm going to do now is drink some sludge real quick. Stay hydrated, folks. I'll give you some ASMR experience there. Welcome to my stream where I drink sludge. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on just doing some double beat stuff. And to do that, pull out my phone. And I'm going to pull up an app. It's called Soundbrenner. And so it's just basically a metronome. There are a ton of them. This is just the one that I'm using. Okay. So 110. So what I'm going to do is here I was a little flammy. Is better. It's interesting, it's the first note that's a little flammier than the second note in terms of this one as opposed to this one, that second one. Okay, so many years ago, like we're talking when I was in high school, which is like 3,000 years ago, I happened to be able to get a couple of lessons with Jeff Queen. And in those lessons, Jeff Queen encouraged me to work on double beat, where you do a variation where you play basically all at the same height, where you emphasize the first note, and then where you emphasize the second note. So I'm going to show you that. So all at the same height. Ew. First note. Second note. And I messed up the pattern there. So yeah, let me do this again, but I'm gonna slow it down. Let's try 84. Okay, I'm gonna slow down even more. 62. Ready, and... Whoops. Messing up. It's more of an emphasis than it is accent tap. Second note emphasis. It's really interesting. The drum kit, which is right next to me, here's the floor tom that you can see, it's like resonating with the hits. I don't think you can hear it, but it's a little distracting for me. Okay, so now I'm going to slow down even more. Let's go to 40. And let's really focus on being rhythmically precise. So I'm going to put on the 16th notes. Rush the 8th note, the 2nd note. Emphasis on one. Trying to strengthen both notes. Typically it's the 2nd note that's weak. Keep messing up from talking. If you can control this like this, at this speed, and they sound the same, then when you speed it up, it's going to sound so much better. A little late. The hands will sound even in terms of the volume. And you'll have control over the balance of both notes. Okay, let's go back to quarter note and let's speed her up. I still got another thing that I want to focus on. Since we're working on diddles, I'm then going to switch to, ew, crush the left. Diddles like that, double stop, but that's coming up next after this break. Actually, we're not breaking. Bad attack. Late. If this were a drumline, we'd restart. But I'm just practicing. Too heavy on that? Okay, let's speed her up again. Practicing can be a grind. That's how you get better, though. Slurred out one of those. Oops. That was because my mind was elsewhere. Thinking about what I was doing next. Cool. Let's see what happens when we speed her up more. I'm gonna do 100, and we'll try 120. And then we'll try and find the breaking point for it. Realize I should probably count off. Realize that I should probably count off what I'm doing and when I'm doing it, so that way you can actually follow along if you're watching this live or if you're watching it after the fact on YouTube. So 1, 2, here we go. Ew. Keep forgetting that. There's a 3-stroke version where you do each of the 3 partials, but I'm not going to work on that today. So just FYI, if you're interested, that's how you can work that up. And then do right, double stop, left, double stop. All right, let's try 120. 1, 2, here we go. Little flammy. Slurred. Yeah, so inconsistent there. But we're going to try it even faster to see just how inconsistent it gets and where. Let's try 135. Why not? 1, 2, here we go. A little slow. Yeah, so the left hand is slurring out. It's slowing down on the different rhythmic partials. So, yeah, that'd be something to work on and continue to do. But what I want to do now is I'm going to actually switch back over to some more grid variations, and I'm specifically going to work up, what's it called? Diddle after an accent. So let me show you where you can find that on the website. So we go back. Whoop, too far back. So if you scroll down to grid, there's diddle variations, and this one has 25 variations. And when you click on it, there is a diddle after an accent. Where are you? Nope. 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 It's hiding somewhere. Diddle every, no, diddle every, diddle after an accent. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to play this one at 40 so you can see, well, what does this look like? And then we'll start to speed her up. This is a really good way to hear whether or not your diddles sound consistent if you're doing a roll. Oops. Cool. So I'm going to speed this up, but another way that you can like hear whether or not your diddles are consistent is like, let's say you have a pattern and that's just like, I don't know. Okay, well, what are the hands doing? It's doing... Okay, cool. Do it as a double stop. And if it sounds like... Cool, then you know you have a lot to work on because your roll probably sounds like inconsistent like that, as opposed to everything popping and being nice and consistent between one hand and the next hand. Okay, so let's speed this up. Let's do 10 clicks at a time. I want to sit with this one. I want to work on the diddles. They're inconsistent today. Ew, see what I mean? Trying to lighten, trying to lighten the accents. Most of my mistakes are from speaking like that, or thinking about what I'm going to do next. I've had multiple decades of not having to worry about that when I'm practicing, because I'm practicing on my own, or in an ensemble. But now that I'm trying to stream how I practice, oh, it's messing me up. But that's okay. I'm here to get better. I'm not here to show off. That was loud. Yeah, so it's the diddles are slightly inconsistent, especially on the first note, interestingly enough. I really got to look at whatever the BPM is that I was at before I skip to one. Because I might just skip to the one I was just doing. Almost did that. All right, 70. Focusing on the diddles in particular. Okay, a little bit better. Not inconsistent enough where I'm like, oh, this is what I need to work on. I need to pause and just keep working on that one thing. So I'll just keep going. I'm assuming it's brain farts at this point, rather than like a consistent error that I need to worry about. Can't speak this morning. Ew. Cool. Not bad. Beep, bum, bum. My left hand, like the stick came off my thumb. Okay, cool. So I was reviewing my prior streams to find some clips to use. And when I was reviewing it, I watched the video where I was demonstrating like how to practice when you don't have like the ability to play with both hands. Like after I got my stitches out, I just like only worked on the left hand for that day. And so I worked on diddle variation where it was, where is it? Diddle on the accents. And I was doing that on one hand. I'm going to do that now with double stops just for funsies, because why not? But I'm going to do it fast, and we'll see how it sounds, especially when I get to the fours. Those probably aren't going to sound good. So I like to, at the end of the chop and technique, I like to intentionally chop out to push my hands to play faster than I can. So I'm going to do that. Okay, so I'm doing a controlled 4-stroke, or 5-stroke rather. So I'm treating it as one stroke and trying to control each one of those. And the reason why I'm doing that is because when I play this faster, is ew, I don't want it to sound like that. So I'm practicing with a fast technique. Speaking of, let's go faster. That was just kind of get my brain into the moment. Now we're going to see how we do when it's quick. Still trying to get the poppy sound. Sounds terrible. Sounds really bad. Yeah, so that's okay. That was the point. My left arm is like, no, please stop it. So I'm going to stop there. I achieved my results. I got to a point where it just sounded blah. But it taught me something. I need to work on my 3 strokes in particular again. So when I was working on concert snare, I had a professor who had me do buzz rolls as 3 strokes. So everything I did were all 3 strokes. And so the way that I worked on it was doing this thing. So doing the double stops. So then you... And then you get some consistent 3s, but that wasn't really evident in the diddle on accents variations. Anyways, okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to transition over to drum kit. Feel free to ask some questions. I see there are 2 viewers. Hey! Hope you're playing along. Hopefully you're learning something. And hopefully you realize I have a lot to work on. So I'm going to move stuff. It'll take me a couple of minutes, and then I'm going to work on drum kit independence. So stick around if you want to check out how I practice that. All right, so now I'm back on my website. So on my website, you can either go up to here and go to drum kit, or you can just click on drum kit independence right here. And I'm specifically going to work on some independent stuff, so some reading through some charts and whatnot. So yesterday I was doing some straight chart work. And so I'm actually going to resume working on those. Uh-oh, and I left my book over there. Darn. Okay, so what I'm going to demonstrate is reading through the charts where one pattern that I'll play is going to be so you play that hand pattern while you read through the charts with the bass drum. And the other pattern is you play this. So we have quarter notes on the ride, offbeats on the hi-hat, 2 and 4, and what I'm going to attempt to do is switch between the 2. I've never done this before, so you're seeing me attempt something I'm probably going to fail at. But we'll see if it gets better as I read through each of these 5 different charts. So I think yesterday I was playing at 110-ish, so let's pick up there. This crash seems close. 2, here we go. A 1, 2, a 1, 2, ready, and ooh, recovered. Woo! This is messing with my brain. It's hard. itchy nose. 1, 2, let's try this again. Here we go. So where I'm messing up is specifically the hi-hat. I'm putting it on the beat rather than off the beat. That's where it's screwing me up. So it's supposed to go off beat like that. 1, 2, 1, 2, here I go. Takes me like a measure to get it right. Ah! This is hard. Now I'm messing this up. Ah! 2, 1, 2, right, and. That was a complete failure. Messed up the snare on that last part, but I got the hi-hat on the offbeat like I was supposed to, so that was better. Progress. 1, 2, 1, 2, here we go. Messing that pattern up, and my speech. Okay, so not great, especially at the beginning, but wow, did that get a lot better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this with the next couple of charts. So I can actually just hit next, and that'll take me to chart 6 through 10. Scroll down, and let's do 110 again, so I can keep this tempo range. Okay, progress was made. I don't know if you could hear it, but I could certainly feel it in my playing. It felt more comfortable as I was doing it. Here we go. 1. Whoop. There we go. Uh-oh. Don't know why the snare cut out on my end for a bit there. Keeps doing that. It's annoying. Oh boy. Focus. 1, 2, here we go. Switch that up the opposite way. Whoops. I don't know why I keep flipping it, so I just like go to the opposite of what it's supposed to be. So the right on the offbeats and the hi-hat on the downbeat. That's another variation in Dom's book that I'm demonstrating. Oops. 1, 2, here we go. Oh my. Okay, so I'm gonna have to, like, honestly just go back and read through the charts again with just this variation to try and just get my brain to think about it more, and then I'm gonna come back to these charts. Oops. I was able to recover, but man, I was off for quite a bit. That is a win, though. And it's a win because if I were performing, like actually live, I'd want to be able to at least keep going. In terms of performing, poorly executed, but hey, I was able to keep going and get back on the correct spot. Oof. It's totally messed it up. Yeah, so like my brain is just like, no, on that second pattern in particular with the offbeat hi-hat, it just keeps wanting to flip it. Which is a variation that I worked up previously. There you go. Etc. But I want to do etc. Okay, so because my brain is completely screwing up on this, like worse than I thought it was going to be, what I'm going to do is I'm going to slow it down a little bit. I'm going to go back to charts 1 through 5, and I'm going to specifically work on just reading through all 5 of these normal way, and then I'm going to go back to charts 6 through 10, and I'm going to attempt it alternating between the 2 patterns. Here we go. Adjusting my volume on my end. 1, 2, 1, 2, here we go. That part is so weird. Ugh, I don't know, I have it at the end. So much easier when it's slower, and I'm not switching between 2 patterns. Don't know why my face is so itchy today, but it is. In case you're wondering. Now you know. You're welcome. 2, here I go. I don't really have much to say here. Just kind of grinding. Sorry it's not entertaining, but hopefully you're able to learn something or play along. 1, 2, ready, and... Okay, so next after this chart, I'm going to go to charts 6 through 10, switch between them, and then I'm going to go back to that really weird pattern I was working on yesterday, the swung ride in 4/4 with the feet in 3/4 and reading the charts. Woo! It messed with my brain. Whoops. Whoopsies. At least I was able to recover. That's a positive that came out. Missed that. My speaking's messing me up. Okay. Better. Not great, but better. Now let's see what happens when I switch between the two. So it's going to go back to 6 to 10, which were the charts that were really messing me up. And I'll play exactly the way that was before, in terms of which one goes first. 1, 2, here I go. So 4 bars of each type of pattern. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, here I go. Alright, better so far. It at least feels better. Not having to think as much. Still not comfortable yet. But hey, it's improved after just a few minutes of working on it. 1, 2, 1, 2, here we go. That one was weird. Okay, a little bit harder for that one, but still better than it was. The crash threw me off. 1, 2, here we go. Got off on the hi-hat. Yeah, so the offbeat hi-hat threw me off there. I don't know why the right hand hits just don't work. It's like right here, there's like a dead zone. Continuing to improve. Still would need to work on this more. But it's better after just a short session, relatively speaking. 1, 2, here we go. Yeah, so still obviously needs some work. Like, I wouldn't want to perform that. I mean, technically I am, for anyone who's watching this live or after the fact. But hopefully this helps you see, like, oh, this is how I would work on that. Or I am working on that, rather. So, yeah. All the raw bad playing right here. But it eventually becomes good playing because sitting there and working on the stuff you're not good at as opposed to just sitting there and repping the same thing over and over that you can do really well. All right. Let's get into something that is going to really mess with my brain. Let's go back to my website. And we're going to do Swung permutations. I just realized that... Oh, never mind. I was wrong. I thought like this flipped straight swung to swung straight, but I read it wrong. Oops. Okay, so I'm going to do eighth notes, swung, and I'm going to do it at like 110. Excuse me. The feet are going to play in 3/4, while my hand plays in 4/4. 2, ready, and... Brushing. Do a 1, 2 again. I already messed up. I did like a 2/4. Ready, and... Brush that. 1, 2, here we go. Whoops. Totally messed it up. I need to give my brain a break. Someone drink more sludge. Brought to you by... I can't even do a fake ad. Brought to you by Sludge. Pineapple chunk. Okay, so we'll do this one again, and then I'm going to attempt to read the charts while playing this. And it's just, it's difficult. One, two, a 1, 2, here we go. Yes, I messed up the feet. I had a couple of 2/4 bars in there, and it's like one of those things where it's like, how do you even get back onto that? So suddenly I'm in 5/4 for a moment. Cool. Okay-ish. Let's try actual charts now. Let's see how that goes. See if it just completely like bleh, messes with me. All swung charts. And we'll do 110, and we'll just start with charts 1 through 5 and go from there. You know, I kind of miss the descriptions where it was yesterday. Oh well. 1, 2, here we go. One, two, 1, 2, ready, and... I totally messed that up, but I'm trying to recover. So far it's okay after the recovery. Okay. Woo! Survived that. One, two, 1, 2, ready, and... I already messed up. Okay, started to feel a little more comfortable. Keep adding in a little extra bass drum on there. 1, 2, ready, and... Brushed a little bit. I think I added in a 4/4 bar in there at one point. One, two, 1, 2, here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, and... Yeah, that one was weird. Okay, so that actually went a little bit better than it did yesterday, so that's great. I think the time working on those like permutations at the beginning helped with that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to another one that I was working on. I'm going to do charts 6 through 10 and then charts 11 through 15. And I'll do it at 110. And so this one is going to be one that has been giving me some struggles over the last couple of weeks. So alternating triplets, 2 and 4 on hi-hat. All the accents that are short. All the accents that are long. Etc. Okay. Let's try this. Ready, and... One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. 1, 2. Ready, and... Two, 1, 2, here we go. Feeling okay. I don't want to get too confident with it though, because I know it's coming on the next charts with the 2-note markings. Ooh, they're hard. 1, 2, 1, 2, here we go. Ooh. 1, a 2, a 1, 2, ready, and... I messed up the sticking at the very end. I wanted to play it off the right, but that was supposed to be off the left. All right, let's try 11 through 15. We'll see how this goes. At 110, scroll down. Put my brain to work today with these independence ones. Some difficult stuff, at least for me. Drum kit's not my primary. Rudimental is. 1, 2, here we go. A 2, a 1, 2, here we go. Okay, so far so good. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, ready, and. Whoops. All right, Other than the little brain fart, better. No complaints here. Progress is being made each week. That's the point of these streams. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, and... I love that line. Woo! I don't like that line. Alright, so the upper part, not so great, but the last line was better. Again, progress. Practicing takes time. You're not going to be great at stuff when you first start it. Ready, and... Oh, I got off on the wrong hand. I was doing okay. Wah wah. I'll need to keep working on that one. One, two, ready, and... Yeah. All right. Awesome. You're my first bot. Oh. Guess what I'm gonna do? Band. Thanks for joining me. I'm glad we got to have that moment together. Thank you so much. Been streaming for a couple months. Haven't had a bot yet, but no, I'm not buying followers. I'm here to practice. Okay. Here we go. So now I've only got a few minutes left and my brain is like mush right now. I'm going to go back to straight charts and I'm going to do some Baião because I love playing the Baião. And I'm going to do charts 1 through 5 is fine. And let's do it at 200. Let's speed her up today. See how that goes. That seriously makes me laugh that I finally got a bot. One, two, ready, and... can't let that happen. It was going just fine, and then I just completely messed that one up. Oh, 1, 2, ready, and... little hairy there, ironically. Oh, 1, 2, here I go. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. Ready, and... last time. Lost my spot for a moment there. Cool. That is it for the day. My brain is like, hey, you need to go meditate right now. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you, bot, for being the first person that I could ban today. I appreciate that. Got to do something new. Woo! So tonight I will be on Fortnite, and then I'll do my next drum stream on Saturday and Sunday, because don't have the rest of the week off. Just today. But anyways, just a friendly reminder, if you are interested in actually checking out the streams that were deleted at the start of the thing that I mentioned, all of my prior streams on Twitch were accidentally deleted, but you can find them all here on my website. Now, I need to be a good streamer and find somebody else to raid. So let's find somebody who is streaming right now. And let's see here. All right, so we got there. Let's go to... There's nobody that I'm following that's streaming right now that we could raid. Let's go to music. There's a person. I want somebody playing drum kit. Okay, this person's got drum kit. Okay. So, yeah, we're going to follow this person. I have no idea if it's family friendly or not, but I hope you enjoy their stream. And we'll go ahead and go here. This is drum face James. And we're going to start the raid. All 2 of you. Enjoy your time over there. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. And yeah, I will talk to you later.